With the woods firmly in the clutches of winter, I grabbed my pack and hit the trail. My goal was to build a natural debris shelter and spend the night by myself in front of the fire. With the woods on a slope, I needed to find a suitable spot to build, one that had abundant resources for my den and fire, as well as ground that wasn't completely saturated from the recent heavy rains. Wanting to create a sturdy home for the night from the environment around me without using any cordage, my first task was to source 3 strong Y branches which I intended to interlock together to form a tripod and the basis of my shelter. The next step to any shelter build is to lay branches and boughs against the frame to form the structure and hold the thatch. Here, the angle of the walls is essential. They must be steep enough to shed water in the chance of inclement weather. At this point, the real hard work begins. Thatching. You can cover your shelter with any number of materials sourced in the woods. For this build, I opted for leaves and not minding mud and small sticks joining them to form my roof. This stage is the most time-consuming portion of building a shelter by yourself, and it's the part that will make or break your build. Despite having been suffering with a cold, the manual labour and fresh air combined to do me a world of good, and seeing my creation come together was incredibly satisfying. In my pack, I had all the necessary gear for being comfortable in my shelter down to much lower temperatures than forecast. In fact, I wouldn't need to use my sleeping bag until I decided to let the fire die at about 1 in the morning, and had only needed to use my fleece, my hat and my wool blanket when I was warmed by that fire. The last step to my shelter was to carve a simple pot hanger from some sticks and to prepare the materials needed for my fire. And with a deep, unrivaled sense of satisfaction and reward, along with some achy limbs, I settled down with my pipe to enjoy the fruits of my labour. Creating your shelter from the land around you is something primal, an instinct that burns within us, an instinct that our modern comforts and amenities have failed to douse. Bushcraft awakens this sense of belonging within nature, and it allows us to connect with our ancestors and the forests we like to call home.
Well guys, the shelter's all done and fire's ticking on. I've had a great time just building that, and yeah, I'm just here for the night by myself. Got a steak to cook up, got some Christmas beers. Thought I'd pop out. Not doing much talking, as you know, in this video. I might have put some voiceover over some of it, but yeah, just wanted to come out. Last little trip before Christmas. Fancied doing a little shelter build, so I've got my sleeping bag and a bivvy, and my reindeer hide in the shelter, so I'm going to be nice and toasty with the fire on, with all the insulation I've put on the shelter. So yeah, it's been such a fun time. I got here about lunchtime and I've just been building the shelter, and it's about 4:30 now. So yeah, not too bad. It's a lot of work building a shelter, but it is fantastic fun. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing the process of that. I hope you're all got your Christmas plans sorted and you're all going to have a nice time with your families and celebrating Christmas. So yeah, as I said, not going to do much chatting, but I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas, and I thought no better time to do that than when I'm drinking a Christmas blood orange wheat beer. So cheers guys, and enjoy the rest of the video. Right, so I've just toasted some English muffins, and I'm going to cut up a steak and make steak sandwiches with that. I've got a 21-day matured sirloin steak, so I'm going to get some oil heated up in the pan, sear it on both sides, get it cooked, let it rest, and then make up my steak sandwiches. It's going to be absolutely delicious. And with the soft, tender steak and lovely smooth ale, alongside the fire's gentle glow illuminating my shelter, and surrounded by nature, I felt true contentment. Well guys, I've packed all my stuff, I've put the fire out, I've covered it over with clay, and I'm going to leave the shelter up because I probably want to come back to this spot. I've had a brilliant camp, really nice to get out for a solo overnighter, especially to do something like a shelter build. So I do hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Stay tuned to my channel in the new year for future content. Check out my Instagram for some nice pictures and things. But yeah, I hope you guys all managed to get out as well. Get practicing those skills, get out in the woods, get the fresh air, and I hope you all have a lovely Christmas. So without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next video. Merry Christmas!